Uh-oh. We're supposed to be muted. We hear no music. All right. Sharon, are you here
Yes,
today?
I am here today.
We're
You
running
are here
late
today.
too. Two people are already looking for us already. We're running late. We're running late. Someone has the wrong background too at the same time. That is not the right. There you go. That would be the right background, but we need to have our face in there. So it wouldn't be the background. Sure, Julius, it has to do with the foreground. And then there we
There we
go.
are.
There it is. Yes, that's just correct. That sounds good. Well, everybody is letting Murphy's Law mess with them today. But hello, anyway. How are you doing on this rainy day here in Savannah, Georgia? Though you could be someplace else in the country.
Where it's not raining.
My beautiful, beautiful guest today, right now, since we have the cameras right in front of us, Sharon next door. Sharon, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on and what we're about for those who are the first time seeing us? Why I try to get things straightened out.
Yes, we are taking the journey together. And at I'll go ahead with our vision. Taking the journey together, we believe that you are going to relate. Doesn't matter what your mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, or even Jesus says, you are going to relate. But in taking the journey together, we try to instill in people, or we strive to instill in people, the idea of relating in a balanced manner. And what we mean by a balanced manner is that you find that person and you start building a friendship with someone that, and you get very close to them, and you build that relationship continuously until you build that friendship into a lovership, and then from the friendship to the lovership, then you find yourself in a committed relationship. And at that point, you don't have to decide whether you're going to be in a long term relationship with your friend or your lover, because they are both the same person. And so you are in a connected relationship with your friend and lover.
Ah, right. Don't she look good when she says that? She does, don't you? And I bet you believe that too, don't you?
No.
Those out there are listening, they're probably believing that. Don't you believe that? Don't you believe it? Some days we're friends, some days we're not.
Okay.
Friendship, especially when it comes for friendship, that's for real friendship,
Mhm.
meaning in this case, authentic friendship.
Yes.
Okay, not
Yes.
associates.
Yes.
Some days you're friends with that particular person and you can't miss them, and yada yada. And then some days you have fallen out.
Yes.
And in a relationship, especially a committed relationship, and you are with that person day after day, you get to see the faults, you get to see the errors. And if they don't let the faults and errors be open to you using the hot principle, then those are the days they're not too much your friends, because you got to guess who in the hell are they? So there's just such a reality from the fact that when it comes to relationships, especially healthy, balanced relationship, you got to be real, you got to be at the same time right. So friend today, hope for friend today, but let's know that we got to work on friendship every day, all the time.
Yes. And I'm sorry, when you switched gears on me real quick when you said, do you believe that? that was right after you said the part about your
Mm-hmm.
lovely partner over here.
Yes.
That was what I was not believing.
Okay.
The
You go and
friendship
straighten out as
and the
much as you want.
lovership, absolutely, I believe in that. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that is absolutely imperative,
Imperative.
because if you do not have that friendship, it's not going to get you through those points where you really don't feel that other person,
Mm-hmm.
and there will be those days also.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were watching some people today, weren't we, Sharon, who were marching out in that hot weather this morning. It was hot as can be. They had their
Yes.
backpacks on. They had their front packs on. They had every pack you
And
could
all
have.
those
Some of
heavy,
them even
heavy
had
uniforms.
helmets on their head, and it was like smoking this morning while they're
It's like
outside.
90 degrees.
Oh yeah, and they just looked like they were smoking, excuse me. And I told Sharon, I said, hey Sharon, let me ask you something. What do they think about that cold? Do you think, I mean, that hot air, how do you think, what do you think? How are they supposed to be like tough guys? Or in this case, what makes them the few far and in between to do that? And Sharon, what was you saying the first time when
Oh,
I brought that up?
I was totally wrong. I was like, what's the purpose of doing this? Getting them used to what? And I was just like, I don't know, getting comfortable with your environment or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, it's their feelings. How do they feel in this? And I was like, huh, I hadn't thought about
That's not
that.
what I said exactly, but feelings are have to do with it. I said what makes them tough in this case is that they're being trained to not pay attention to the feelings.
Yes.
So if it's hot as can be out there and I'm sweaty and my body's feeling prickly and I got those yellow flies out there biting
Oh
on me,
gosh.
I'm going to say to myself, even though inside it's saying, what the hell am I out here doing this in the first place? And my body's saying, you're right. You're crazy as hell. You're going to say to yourself, I'm not going to pay attention
Yeah.
to those feelings.
I'm just
I've
gonna
got
let it wash
another
off.
determination called integrity, kind of issue,
Mhm.
loyalty, whatever you may want to call it, as a character that I'm going to go by. And your mind says, I'm blocking out this pain, I'm blocking out this heat, I'm blocking
Yes.
out this uncomfortable, and I'm moving
And
ahead.
how many miles I still have left to walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we talked about how many times in relationships it's the same thing where it should be. We in turn think it should be comfortable, no problems at all. Therefore, if it's
Mhm.
comfortable, no problems at all, then our attachments in
Yeah.
this case should go the same way.
Exactly.
That is just not true
Mhm.
whatsoever. We many times don't want to get beyond our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so we don't even know what our zones are. But one thing
Yeah.
is, for we don't get past or don't want to get past our comfortable.
Comfort zone.
Anyway, I'm not comfortable even
Comfort zone.
saying it.
I know. I know.
So in a relationship, then it's kind of like, you asked me to do something that's going to make me feel uncomfortable,
Mhm.
and I don't want to do that in this relationship. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen. You can understand there's that conflict, there's
Mhm.
that battle, there's that power going on because both or one of them is saying, I'm not going past my comfortable, what was it?
Comfort zone.
Comfort zone.
Mhm.
And the other person says, well, in order for us to move or make this particular move, like when they were marching the soldier, we have to get past our comfort zone to
Exactly.
make this happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we come upon that every day, but we really don't do that. And I'm guilty too. We really don't put that same determination in our relationships all the
No.
time. You know.
No. We figure. What was it you told me when you first met me? You thought about relationships were like, especially since it's been kind of pushed from Disneyland into the just into what are all the shows, the princesses and kings and all that other stuff. We
Uh,
see that we have been growing up in this country to be able to or to
yeah.
believe. What was it?
The one thing it was not that I didn't believe in arguments. I just didn't like them.
Well,
Yeah.
no. We know that, but we
Mhm.
know that from the beginning because you didn't think going with the knight in white shiny armor and at the same time riding into the sunset that there should be no kind of arguments, there should be no kind of conflict, there should be no kind of disagreement in the relationship if it's a real relationship,
Yeah.
a perfect relationship. Well, you found
Yeah. I
out
don't.
even on our second one that's just not true.
Yeah, and
It wasn't true in the first place.
true in
It really never has
it's never
been.
been true. I don't like conflict and
No,
confrontation.
that's
and that's
that's a different thing.
Yeah.
No one really does.
Yeah.
But yet, at the same time, you understand
Mhm.
that that's why you get used to or get very good at using bridge statements.
Yes.
Because there are going to be in a relationship times when people are not going to agree with
Mhm.
one another. They're not going to be on the same page. That's life.
Yes. Yes. It definitely is. and it's what we do with it at that particular time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do? Those soldiers did something at that particular time. They kept on marching.
Yeah, they did.
They kept on marching in that
Yes.
heat. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about. We're going to talk a little bit about our show that we're going to talk about today, where we do this
Well,
other
let's
places.
go with the hot.
Oh, I
first.
forgot because we were keeping it hot right now. Come to think
Yes.
of it, why don't you go a little bit with that?
And we've been, with all that was going on, we did not get our hot buttons on.
Mm-hmm.
But let me talk to you about being hot. We have the hot buttons here. The hot
Mhm.
buttons are $5 each. One for you, one for your partner. It's called $10. That will get you two. What is the purpose of this? It is to remind you that you need to be hot in your relationship. It is to remind you that this is a good foundational place for your relationship. And, you know, if you're not feeling like your partner's being hot, you put it on and you say, "This is my bridge statement." And
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, we need to be more hot in this relationship. Where's your hot button? Put it on. So it's a reminder, a soft reminder for both of you. It also helps support ATR, this wonderful station that allows us to be on and doing what we're doing right now, talking to you about relationships.
Exactly.
And so the funds from the hot buttons go to help fund ATR. So be the first one today to email us at TTJT at taking the
Okay.
journey dash together.
Hold on, that's a
.com.
mouthful.
Yes, TTJT.
Hold on, let me help you out.
Okay,
Hey,
thank
there you go. See, flashing below, right below there.
at
Someplace my
takingthejourney
fingers.
together.com. TTJT at takingthejourney-together.com.
Exactly.
Easy for me to say, right?
I think so.
No,
Hey,
not
I
at
just
all.
lost my mouse.
Uh-oh.
I don't see where he's at anymore. Oh, he died on me.
He's like, I don't like being thrown around. We're gonna have to put some sides on here.
You have to put something on there.
So yeah,
he's gone.
let's be hot with us, each other, and hot for ATR.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm trying to
no.
fix this mouse. So
yeah, that's why I was going to try to just go ahead while you were
go ahead. Then,
doing
sis.
that. Okay,
I'm
so
trying to fix this.
so we have been talking since last week,
Mm-hmm.
about the attachment theory.
Mm-hmm.
And the attachment theory is has to do with the capacity for connection and relationship. It deals with affection, with fondness and sympathy for someone. You know, and sometimes we can get really angry with someone and we withdraw the affection, we withdraw any semblance of fondness. And it's just a way of sometimes just saying, I'm hurting. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about how you connect.
Exactly how you connect. One of the things that she is kind of moving to is the relationship charge.
Mhm.
How much passion, how much
Yes.
connection, how seriously are you involved in your relationship?
Mhm.
How serious are you involved?
Yes.
And so that's what we're referring to. That very energy that is about how seriously are you connect. I mean, some people in a relationship, they're not even that seriously involved in a
Right.
relationship. We call them casual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We call them
Acquaintances.
acquaintance.
You know, and it's a
okay.
shame if you're in a
Exactly.
if you're an acquaintance in a relationship that you're passing off as being an in love relationship.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes we have just friends with benefits, and that's about it. I mean, it's really not a strong kind of connected to
Mhm.
relationships. And no, we're not talking about just the listen, infatuation, which is the physical one, that you feel strongly charged connected to. No, we're talking about again that affection, that fondness, that sympathy for
Mhm.
that person that you're connected with, and you feel strongly about those kinds of characters and more that you connect to that individual. And so we're looking at that attachment theory, which we talked about before, where there's many times when we deem that relationship as being unhealthy because it does not fall within the interpretation as the right amount,
Mhm.
the right kind
Yeah.
of connection, or the other, it's just not what we have up here, not enough, or what? Too much.
Yeah.
And so you can understand that if someone is real serious about relating to you,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all into you, if you may want to say, and the other person is really
Kind of
not
like hanging
really
back.
into you, then
Yeah.
you can see that, hey, that relationship is not going to be balanced.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be healthy. And some counseling people, we're mostly coach people too, of course, will call that a what?
Codependent.
A codependent
Yeah.
relationship. That's what they would call
Codependent
that.
relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of codependent relationships out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people operating in the thriving, surviving
Right.
arena, at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really in a codependent relationship.
Yes.
So unity community is all about trying to move from
Taking
that
the journey
codependent,
together.
taking the journey. Thank you. It's all about trying to move from that. That's another organization that we run with, big River Street thing that we do every third weekend of the month, right down the River Street in Savannah, Georgia. So if you ever come to Savannah, Georgia, make sure you go down to River Street on the third weekend of the month.
Next
You get to see our
weekend.
event next weekend. Yeah, you'll see our
Yes,
event
that's a
there.
plug.
Arts and craft and music there. Got a young person that's running it. Been doing it for 6 years. Come down and enjoy yourself. Come to think of, if you got a couple, take your couple selves down there, enjoy yourself, because it's
Yes.
beautiful by the river and all that good stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've had some wonderful, spontaneous moments
Mm-hmm.
on River Street. Twilight, watching the moon, just getting caught up in the the music, and the and the I was going to say the movement of the time as things are going through. But that kind of messed up. But
Exactly, exactly. Before we move on and get right into our subject, even that much more attachment theory, please go and get your friend, go and get your neighbor, share, even your enemies, share your couple friend that you may want to get a long-term relationship with, or you're with right now. Please share this. Share this. Don't let this good information just go on by and you miss out on it. Please don't do it. We ain't charging you for it. It's free from the passion of our heart. But at the same time, we know this is good information for you. We're talking about the way we connect, and the way we connect sometimes is many times not in balance. It's codependent, but we want to try to make it better. We want to expand it the same way we want more money, the same way we want our cars to do better, the same way in turn we want a promotion in our job or make our business better. We're talking about expanding. Exactly. We're talking about expanding your relationship. You would think out of all those things that are important that I just spoke of, because they are, they would think that you would think your relationship should be even that much more important. In fact, it should be either the top or the bottom that's either carrying all that, or the top that's flying into where it needs to go. But one thing is for sure, your relationship should be that important. You should be one to concentrating on that too, and all that comes along with it. So we're talking about relationship when it comes to theory, that relationship theory. Are you in a relationship that is someone is just too much for you, too much energy? You just can't really deal with it.
You make me tired just watching you.
Exactly. Or you make me think too much. Or you're in a relationship where the person is just too quiet. They sit in the corner, or they can sit every day just sitting there doing nothing. Sitting in the bathroom on for hours doing nothing. Or some might sit in front of the TV and the TV just plays and they're sitting there, and that's about it.
Yeah. Sleeping in front of the TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, just living there.
And you're like, wow, what kind of connection do I have here? Well, we are talking about that. Now, there's a lot of information about the different kind of attachment styles. Okay.
Yes.
Present relationship dynamics are usually linked to our early childhood attachment experience, because our first childhood attachment experiences came first with our parent figures.
Yeah.
They were the first one that showed us how to connect in the world with other people. Let alone in that relationship thing called marriage or girlfriend and boyfriend or living with one another. I mean, they showed us that. And if they showed us that in a very, was it dysfunctional?
Dysfunctional.
An unhealthy way.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to pick up.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to run with.
Exactly.
And you're going to think it's no better than that. Am I right?
You're going to think that. Absolutely.
Let me get a little bit of water here.
Yeah, because and yeah. So as we look at, not a problem. So as we look at the different ways in which we attach, that's going to say a lot about who we are and how we are
and how we got there.
Yeah.
How we got. I mean, if you had a dad that didn't talk to you much, you're not going to be too open in hearing from another man
Hmm.
because your dad didn't talk. He was seen but not heard.
Yeah.
In a lot of communities, we find, especially in a lot of Southern communities, the black men especially were seen but not heard. So they
Hmm.
don't talk much
Yeah.
from the old school days.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about the younger ones now, but the older ones
Right.
who passed on, they don't say much at all. And so you
Hmm.
see them, but you don't hear them. And so you got a lot of that relationship on the other side where there's a woman who talks a lot. Her mom talked a lot, her grandmother talked a lot, where it may be. And so they're very open to communicate. And the guy's like, nah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're running your mouth too much.
Exactly.
Anything like that.
Exactly.
And that could be, and many times because of how they were brought up that same way, could
Hmm.
cause a problem in that relationship because it's a different kind of relationship connection.
Yeah. And that's always one of the things that you have to look at is
Hmm.
your history, your past. That's one of
Should
those
talk about it at
one
least.
exactly. That's one of the reasons why building a friendship is so important,
Hmm.
because when you're building a friendship, you're willing to listen to each other and find out who they are, not tell them who they are, not make assumptions as to who they are, but find out who they really are based on the experiences they had, full-fledged experiences that they had growing
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
and before they knew you.
Yeah. You mean the kind of questions that you should be talking to them doing the what they call the courtship time.
Exactly.
I should be
Exactly.
talking about those questions instead of, oh, you like look good. Oh, that booty looks good,
Hmm.
baby. Or,
Yeah.
oh, that guy. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
should be having that conversation that's a little more in depth, that
Who
has
are
some
you?
character. Yeah, exactly. Who are you?
Instead of what you
Exactly.
look like. Who
Exactly.
are you? What experiences
Mm-hmm.
have you had that
Mm-hmm.
created you into who you are?
Exactly.
Because, you know,
And then in the family portion we just talked
hmm,
about,
yeah.
how did you treat you hear this whole saying? They would say, how a I'm gonna do it the backwards way instead of the forward, the
Hmm.
usual customer way. How a woman has treated her dad or not is
Hmm.
how she gonna treat you. How's that one?
Exactly.
Because I usually hear it the other way.
Yeah.
How that man
And
treats her mom, his
treats his
mom,
mother
is
is
how
how
he's
he's
gonna
going to
treat
treat you.
you. Yeah.
If he doesn't like his mother, he's not going to like you,
Mm-hmm.
because you're a reflection of who his mother
Exactly.
is or was.
Exactly. As you said, did
Yeah.
the other way around. How
Yeah.
you in turn treated your dad. Maybe your dad didn't talk much. He was only seen, and that's about it.
Hmm.
That's pretty much how you're gonna treat a guy too.
Yeah.
I don't hear you.
Yeah.
I hear nothing you said
That,
whatsoever. I remember we kind of saw that sometimes in a movie. I remember the movie that Craig did that had to
who's
do
Craig?
Craig Ice T's first name is Craig, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, excuse me. His first name is Craig, and
Hmm.
in turn, at least he played Craig. I
Hmm.
think his real name is Craig. I
I don't
can't
know.
remember, but he played on one of the first barbershop movies. And
Hmm.
remember, his particular wife, he had a dream to open up a particular
Yeah.
record studio
Yeah.
outside. He didn't want to do the barbershop with his particular dad, but his woman never believed in his dream
Yeah.
and act like whatever he talked about was a worthwhile listening
Right.
whatsoever. By
Right.
the way, Ice Cube's birthday is my same day as mine. I
Is
remember,
it really?
yeah, I told you sometime in
Oh,
the
that's
past
right.
in
It
Kansas City,
was
Kansas,
him.
he
Yeah.
came to the casino there years ago. I went to saw him at the casino. He wasn't that big then, but I went to saw him there in that casino from that end. Anyway, just going back to the past.
Yeah.
But that's just one of the examples, and we saw
Hmm.
that stereotype that's kind of pushed a lot, sadly, in the African
Hmm.
American community. I don't believe it's that way much anymore, but still, that's an
Yeah.
example of a relationship where someone feels you're being too much, another
Hmm.
one feeling you're not being enough.
Enough. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's. Last week we talked about one of the attachment
Mm-hmm.
styles, and it's secure, the secure attachment, and this is, excuse me, get me now.
Mm-hmm. What's what?
A person that yeah, exactly, is grounded in their in themselves and
Mm-hmm.
able to move between states of connection and disconnection, which is, like, I'm sitting over here and I'm
These are the
um
different styles they're talking about when
yeah,
it comes to attachment
exactly.
connection.
And
Yes.
I'm doing
Individual styles.
exactly,
Yes.
and I'm engaged in my hobby over here, and there's nobody here but me, but and I'm there, and then you come in, and I can stop what I'm doing to connect with you. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a wait a minute, I'll be with you in a minute, let me finish doing what I'm doing. It is, I can stop and connect.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not around, I can disconnect and do, whatever my project is, or whatever my focus has been. But it's not a constant disconnection or a constant connection. It is an ability to float, or be fluid between the two.
And the fluidity you are referring to is based on the grounding of who you are and who
Exactly.
you're comfortable
Exactly.
with, and hopefully and believably it comes from being and doing the work of knowing who you are
Mm-hmm.
and loving who you are.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be times in a balanced relationship or a healthy relationship, as
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the first time, where we're not going to be deep friends.
Right.
We're not going to connect for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to go through the extreme of maybe you're in a coma, or maybe
Yeah.
you're in the hospital a couple of days, maybe a broken foot, something some psycho thing has happened. But
Psychological.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
that's extremes. But outside of
Exactly.
extremes, those kind of moods exist.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do when it comes to your own self?
Yeah.
Are you going to lose your own self in that matter and say, because this person is not connected to me as my friend, as what we built this way, and that we agreed to be this way, that all of a sudden I don't exist?
Right.
All of a sudden I am not to be anymore?
And that should not be the
No,
case.
no. Your healthiness is secure, because we're talking about a secure style
Mm-hmm.
relationship when it comes to attachment theory. In this case,
Yes.
how we attach, how we connect, is that I still have that love, or I say like and love
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Right.
So even if
Right.
you don't, I still will. And I think that has a lot to do with maybe in the old days, I'm not for sure, where that one individual says, I'm going to continue to love you even though you change,
Mm-hmm.
even though you have bad days. I'm going to continue loving. And I think maybe what they're really referring to is my love for myself is still going to be there.
Yeah.
And my love for myself has it secure in such a way that whenever you need it, I can present it to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
I can connect it to you. I think about for my own self, my mom, even though, wow, that's a bad example sometimes, really. But I can think about to myself that even when there was times when I was uncomfortable doing some crazy shit, and there's no doubt about it, I still got the feeling inside that she still had the ability to love me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When it came down to me needing it, I
Yeah.
want to connect to it. And that kind of grounding, that kind of security that person has in self, you can see today that a lot of people are looking for that.
Oh
Because
yeah.
people are changing all the time.
Definitely.
They're not being sound about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're wishing that they were around someone who was sound
Yeah.
and grounded
Mm-hmm.
within themselves.
Exactly.
And therefore, in turn, they can do that. And I'm gonna stop right here, because I'm
that's
going.
fine.
I remember that many times we always will look for our grandparents to be
Yeah.
that way. Remember, our mom and dad flipped, script, drugs, whatever you may want to talk about. But I know if I went over grandma's house,
Mm-hmm.
I went over grandpa's house, no, they had plastic on all the couches, and it may smell this way, but you know the soundness of them was there.
Yeah.
They hadn't changed about who they were. And didn't you feel comfortable? Didn't it feel like a place of sanctuary for you in the craziness of the world?
Okay.
Oh yeah,
But
it
see,
did.
I had a different experience because I
Mhm.
didn't have to go to grandma's house. I just went to grandma's bedroom because
You had
it
grandma
was
right on the spot.
exactly. I
Mhm.
grew up in an extended family, and
Mhm.
so it was 3 generations living in the house. And so I would just go to her room, but her room was that sanctuary place. Actually, wherever she
Mhm.
was my sanctuary. If she was in the house, I would go in the house and everything was okay. If
Mhm.
she was in the kitchen, I could go into her room and cuddle up in her big reclining chair and everything is fine. If I
Mhm.
fall asleep, oh well. And so yeah, that was my comfort place.
Yeah, well, see, you were blessed to have her on the spot. I did not have my grandma on the spot. She
Mhm.
lived in a whole nother city, come to think of it, Florida. And so I went to visit her, and her and grandfather gave me that kind of security. That's where I first wrote my first article, called "We Came from Africa."
Mhm.
And I wrote it there in Florida, where I stayed there for being a bad boy, and had it published there, and then came back and had it published in the city that was in my first article. I needed you as an editor then, because it was all messed up. I look back on it now; it was all messed up.
Our first,
that was my first
everything is
exactly.
messed up. So
But I grew tremendously
yes,
staying
you
with my
have.
grandfather. He
Yeah.
worked in from California, being not adopted. Yeah, he was adopted by an Irish gentleman, and then thrown on the street as one of the many what do you call it when you do it on the street? Abandoned young men. That happened a lot in California. It's a historical fact. He just worked his job on his own wherever he went, where he could find, and pretty soon he ended up working as a porter for the railroad, which a lot of African American men had a chance to be able to work, and that was a great job for them. Yes. And he told me he had a chance to meet actually Randolph, A. Philip Randolph. He knew him personally, talked to him personally, as many porters did back in that day. So he had an unbelievable history. Somehow he moved into the Midwest, and in the Midwest there was a city someplace in Iowa where a lot of people were doing and going there because of coal mining going on there. So it was a good job for, I guess, men. Dirty job could be killed, but that's where and some ones were many African American males. So he went there. That's where he met my mom, who was from the East Coast. My grandmother's from the East Coast. She was one of those what do you call the indenture servitude? What's it called when they really were not slaves? But what are they? She was a free black.
Different form of.
She exactly how she came over. So it was not from down south.
Her parents.
Exactly. Yeah. So both of them presented to me a whole different way of life, of soundness and groundness there when I lived there. Actually, I enjoyed it the time I was there. I was hoping to stay down there longer, but hey, it just didn't work out that way. But that was my example of my grandparents.
Yeah. So, and those are the things that you need to know and find out and speak in detail about during that courtship, during that friendship building, during, the time, before you start making the soul tie connections.
Exactly. Yeah. You get into that funny bunny and get real hot and get real moist, and
they're the kind of hot.
Then it's too late. Then that soul tie is made, and can get ugly from then. So we were talking about secure, grounded in self. You gave that example, no doubt about it. And the other side that we talked about a few minutes ago is very, very important in a relationship. Relationships go through cycles. They go through cycles, and that includes a balance in relationships. They will go through cycles, and sometimes it will make you crazy, like a cycle. I just talked a little bit.
Cycle.
Yeah, you cycle. Okay, what's another style?
The insecure ambivalent. Oh my gosh.
What is ambivalent? That's a big word.
Ambivalence together. Ambivalence is where you just don't really care one way or the other. If the sun is up, okay, it's just, you feel the same as if the sun was down. Nothing makes a difference, and you could care less one way or the other. In the insecure ambivalent situation, you feel overwhelmed by the other person in the relationship, and you tend to withdraw and isolate in order to feel and process.
Okay, I'm just
you're unable to maintain the sense of separate self within the relationship. I do get overwhelmed sometimes.
I wonder why.
Because you're like the Energizer Bunny, and I don't get a chance to get any.
Hey! Your insecurity that you have, you don't manage it well, but you bring it to the table, at least legitimately to a certain extent. But there is no doubt about it. There are many relationships where someone in that relationship is insecure and ambivalent. They don't care one way or the other. Don't really make a difference to them.
And with in some situations, you can be insecure about certain things, but not insecure about everything. And so, you could.
Want some water?
Yeah.
Do we get you with something that you just can't seem to get it out of you? Get it out of you.
I know.
Hey, I'm not mad at you, only from the standpoint we do know that relationships go in cycles or seasons, like the play that we're trying to do called Seasons in Relationship, a conscious play. Exactly. We live like living beings and like plants in seasons. So you're just referring to there's a season in the relationship. Now you help me out with that one too. That seasons in the relationship where boom, this is what happens. You talk about. It's just when you real quickly. Is this when you stay consistent? In the season that never changes. Right. Then things ain't gonna grow too well. They're just not going to.
And you have to hope that both of you will not fall into that insecure space at the
Mm-hmm.
same time.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
ooh, that would be ugly. That's
Because
ugly.
if you do, who's gonna
Who's gonna
pull
pull the
who
other one
out?
out?
You
Yeah.
know, because you can you for example,
Mm-hmm.
women have body issues. Body
They do.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Some look good to
we
me.
have issues with the way we look.
Okay, but yeah, body image. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, and so we
Yeah.
have issues with that. And so, you know, even though our partner can be saying, "Oh, you look so good, you look so
Mhm.
good," well, if we know that we have gained 10 pounds and we can't fit things, the clothes that we have been fitting, like maybe
Mhm.
we put on our favorite dress today and
Mhm.
that dress was just a little too tight, or it
Mhm.
showed things that we really didn't, want to be shown,
To who?
because
The world?
to anybody,
Not even to
including us.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's a
because
bad body
because
image
when
to deal
when
with.
when you see that,
Mhm.
that is that confirmation that you have gained weight and you don't look like you have
Mhm.
come to accept yourself looking. And so,
You think anybody out there listening to us has had that same problem? Any
no.
women out there?
Mm-mm.
If another woman has, please, would you please text us? Give us some comments if you had some body image problems. Some of us
Mhm.
men really want to know, or we're like, yeah, we already know from that
Yeah.
end. But give us your experience,
Yeah.
give us your thoughts. Is it similar to what she was talking about? I do know that there are times that we go to the beach and I see her in her swimsuit. She looks fine to me. She looks good to me. And she's, ruffled around the ridge. I'm using a good word to ruffle around the ridges, not feeling comfortable about it, even though I said, baby, you look okay. Don't even worry about it. She still feels uncomfortable. And I'm seeing like a beach whale
Which
walking,
he
walking
which he
around.
proceeds to point out to me, well, if that person
I
doesn't
know
have a
it.
problem, I'm thinking, yeah, but I feel like that person right about now,
Well, but see, that's all in your mind too.
Exactly. That's my point. That's
Mhm.
that insecurity.
Yeah, that's true.
you know and but how would it be if we're on the beach, I'm in my swimwear, you're in your swimwear, and I'm
Mhm.
saying, oh gee, I look like a beached whale, and you're saying, yeah, well, here comes the beached whale mate, meaning you, and you have that same attitude,
But I
that
don't.
same, I'm saying, what if
Oh, okay.
that was a what if.
Mhm.
And then, who's going to make sure that
Well,
we come out of that to enjoy the
I'm gonna say
beach?
to you then that's why in this case we're not given that as a scenario, even though you are. Because in
Exactly.
the reality, I don't do that.
No. Oh no,
But
you
you do
don't.
on that other end.
Yeah, I do, but not to that deep extent. It's, because I
Well, I
have,
mean,
yeah.
you definitely have wore some nice looking swimsuit things out there. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. You still put your covering thing on, but from that end, but your realization that is still relative to
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
is still there. The relativism also to me should be just as important.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's looking. So, I'd like to be looking, that is. I know
Yeah.
others are looking, but I hope my look really counts
And
from that end.
it does.
Mhm.
And I don't even know how to explain what females go through on that personal level.
What's that body
Yes.
image you're talking about?
Yeah.
But men have body images too. Come on now. See, that's the thing about it.
Yeah. And
That's why
that's what I was saying.
unity, excuse me, taking the journey was all about from I started
Yeah.
years ago. Some of the same things that women say, some of the same things that men say.
Mhm.
We just don't get a chance to talk about it. So men have body images
I know,
too.
and
I mean,
that's
seriously, they go
why
through.
I
They talk
said
with
if
one
we
another.
were out there at the same time
Hmm.
with these insecurities, then we would be in a pickle.
A pickle.
Well, a fix.
This is what I got to deal with. She said pickle. Okay. It would be uncomfortable situation between the
Yes.
two. Well, you don't have that, so we're not going to move to something that's going to make us both uncomfortable.
No,
We're trying to move more forward, which is what this is all
you
about.
actually have helped me.
Okay. Now,
Um,
why'd you say that?
I'm getting there,
Oh, okay.
because you brought up anyway. Yeah, you've actually helped me because we've been able to um, find some swimwear
Mm-hmm.
that I'm comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I
Well,
will go
you
to the beach now.
I appreciate the fact that you openly said that, and at the same time, I'm glad that you feel comfortable with that. No doubt about it. But yet at the same time, I ain't spending no more money. No, I'm just
And you don't need to. I have like 15, 20 swimsuits there, and I can't even swim. But
well, that's a whole nother story.
but that doesn't keep me out of the water.
Keeping on this is important. I don't think it has anything to do with, we should think of it as what is it, beating a dead horse.
Yes.
Because the insecure portion, that ambivalent portion, I've seen a lot in relationships. And it usually comes down to, you hear me say what some people say, what did I said before? It don't take all that.
Yeah. And you know,
and that's a perfect example of an insecure person that gets a perception they're really secure in the relationship, but in reality they're not. They don't care really one way or the other. And you can't not care one way or the other in a relationship when it comes to a healthy, balanced relationship. The whole theory lets us understand that strong charge and seriousness between one another. If you two have that, then you can't have the opening of the insecure. Well, one person doesn't really make any difference. It really doesn't. So this is about when someone, exactly, this is when really one does and the other one does. That's what makes it insecure. The secure one is when both have the charge of we are to be together. We are serious about it. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Don't take all that. They're like, it takes all that and more. That.
Yes. You know, I can be over here doing me. You can be over there doing you, but together we still have that we that we do.
We want to build.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to build. We want to create.
And that's the important
want to leave a legacy.
Yeah, and when you're insecure, you're not going to be working at that level.
No,
you know.
No.
So
you were mostly about yourself.
Exactly. So you got to find a way to work your way out of that insecurity. And sometimes
try ice cream.
Ice cream works well. I would love to try
ice cream's my friend.
Oh gosh, yes.
People make food their friend during that time. Sometimes TV, sometimes going out with the boys. You know
sometimes a book, sometimes
smoking too much, a good joint, things like that.
And then there are times that sometimes you just lock yourself away. If I'm so insecure, nobody else is. I should be
that sounds personal. Way you look. That was scary.
No, and I've never been that person.
No, I don't remember you locking yourself away since you met me.
I've never locked myself away ever. No. No, I'm a shy person, but I still like to be around people.
Oh, okay.
So I've never been to that point. Now, my insecurities come from the fact that I'm a people pleaser, and I often fall short of that, or worry about falling short of pleasing people that I care about, and so that's where my insecurities come in.
Okay, let's move to talk a little bit like we usually do. A little commercial break, real quickly. Where can they also see us? By the way, you can see it at the bottom. Where can they also see us at?
See us or hear us?
Hear us. Yes, I'm sorry. Here, I got the wrong thing out of the bottom. Where's another place you can hear us?
They can hear us on WRUU, low something radio.
Low power radio station. 107.5 is right here at the bottom. You can see it going down there at the bottom.
Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. And you should. We talk about the same things, but different. Because it's a different moment, and everything that we talk about is specific to the moment in the audience.
Yeah, we kind of speak it in a different way with some more examples of our own testimonies, or we spin off like a glass on another facet of how you could look at, and like in this particular case, attachment theory. Because we're pretty, complex beings in the first place, and how we relate. Some more simple than others, but a lot more complex than others. So, the radio is another way that we are able to express ourselves in. And so, we love to see you on WRUU 107.5 Saturday, as Sharon said, 9 to 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Definitely. We also want to let you know that we both have that sheepskin, I guess what you call counsel. No, coaches.
Relationship coaches.
Coach, exactly, relationship coaches. So, if you're looking for any kind of help in your relationship, especially if you have goals that you're trying to make and you want to make in your relationship and you need us to help you to make that goal, hopefully it's a goal between you two, not just with one, then we'd be glad to help you. You could see our email address again is coming up real soon. I'm
which
it's just
is
coming up here real quick. I'm noticing too, we don't have our usual guests that we usually see on Thursdays.
I know.
We only got one person so far, but we had a couple that usually gives us comments and yada
Hmm.
yada. But anyway, you can send it to TTJT at taking
Taking
the
the
journey
journey dash
that's taken,
together
yeah,
dot
exactly
com.
.com. So just send us
TTJT.
your name and how we can contact you back,
Mhm.
and we'll kind of talk to you a little bit about helping you and get back on path when it comes to what goals you're looking at trying to keep your
Yeah.
relationship together in life. We're glad to help you with that. What else can we put up here that we besides that?
Other than that,
Mm-hmm.
we can um just talk about some of the you know, first of all, one thing that we need to say is we
Mm-hmm.
really want to thank ATR for giving us this platform and this
Yes.
opportunity, because that is, that's um something that is very important, that we have every opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
try to work with people to strengthen their relationships.
Yes, that not too many older couples are trying to kind of present their life opening in a hot way, honest, open, and transparent way to try to help out younger folks
Hmm.
or even those our age to kind of move forward in that relationship and expand is probably a
Yeah.
better word, that relationship, or your relationship personally.
Mhm.
And knowing that is important just because of the fact that we don't live in a perfect world. And
Right.
on the other side, we do it a lot because we know divorce is just rampant.
Oh gosh,
People are just
yes.
not staying together whatsoever. They look at this idea of marriage or the idea of long-term relationship as being nah, it ain't gonna exist anymore.
Hmm.
And I don't care if you're in a poly relationship or not. We're still talking about a long-term relationship. We're gonna
Yes.
connect with that person for a long-term, build a legacy, build in the first place something you want to leave on this earth for other children, other kids, other people,
Hmm.
and in your own selves too at the same
Yeah.
time, where you're going to need this kind of elements and information, what I call good diamonds, platinum information to kind of help you out and move on. I know it's been working for us, which is why we're still here talking.
Yes.
And at the same time, we know that it is a what is it? What did you call it before? Like a on the job?
On the job training.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It's a internship.
Oh wow, that's a good way to say that.
It's an
Hmm.
internship, and we take turns being
What?
the person who knows that craft.
Mm.
Because when you're and you get the turn more than I do, because you've
Mm-hmm.
done much, 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 much more research than I have. As a matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, I'm truly the intern, because I'm learning from you
Mm-hmm.
and
You, you,
from the
you can pick up some
information that
things
you
your own
have.
self. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
understand.
but still, in the hierarchy of information,
Mm-hmm.
you have 10 times more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
You've been working at this, you know, years more than
Probably
I
too
have.
long.
Yeah. So I don't know that as long as you're in a relationship, I don't think you can work at it too long.
Well, we're going to find out later as we keep talking that the too long portion has a style of connection when it comes to attachment that
Hmm.
may be not good. I mean, anything that's too long or too much can also cause a problem. It's called extremes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we'll be talking about another area when it comes to extremes are going too far.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
Relationship and spirituality is about a balance. How do you handle balance just every day in life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we at? Oh,
We were
well, I think we got to let someone go. All right.
no, no,
No,
no,
not yet. I'm
no.
sorry.
We've got
I
about
didn't
five
see that.
minutes.
Fine. Thank you. I'm
We've got about
sorry.
five
I didn't
minutes.
see that. Oh, wow. Somebody got a private chat here real quickly.
Yeah. Let's see,
Oh, just
about
told
four
us,
minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
we are at we're still with the insecure ambivalent. I don't think
Hmm.
we should go to the next one yet.
No,
We'll just
no.
finish this one out.
Hmm.
Um, but the feeling of being overwhelmed by the other person in the relationship is the thing that we really need to look at. And when you withdraw or you isolate yourself, it it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you
Hmm.
need to know how to do that bridge statement to say, sweetheart, I know that it seems like I am um, disappearing, but I need some alone time to regroup myself. And so if you could give me like an hour of quiet time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to another part of the house and
Mm-hmm.
just be, and that may be meditating. It may be reading. It
Mm-hmm.
may be exercising. It may be whatever it takes for you to get
Well,
your self
Well,
back together.
and therefore that's what you should do.
Yeah.
But many times you don't do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously,
Absolutely.
that's what something you should do when you don't do, because it ain't like you connected all the time with
Right.
me anyway.
Right. That is absolutely right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying that it's, and that's one of those things that sometimes I feel like that's a bad thing. And so then I do that withdrawal thing.
Mhm. But that's in your mind.
It is.
That's that insecure
It
part we
is.
talked about.
Absolutely. That's where it's
Mhm.
that's the insecure. It's not ambivalent. I'm never at the point of I don't care one way or the other.
Mhm.
It is I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this.
Well,
but
you
it's
just
not,
you
I
just
don't
gave the
care about-
answer.
Exactly. See, that's
That'd be the
that's
answer.
why this. See, if it works for us, you can
Mhm.
imagine how it would work for you.
Yeah, yeah. There'll be time, hey,
Yeah.
I need some time to myself, lay off.
Mhm.
I remember we talked about when you came back from school how you should, go
Yeah.
down to the bar, get your Pepsi, have you a couple of drinks from your Cokes, and then come back and you'll be ready. Just how can I say it? You ready to dance on the table and
Hey.
give me a pole dance? No, I'm just joking. Maybe not. You may want me to do one, but
if
no,
I-
it was really
if
you
if
sitting
I-
in the
yeah,
car.
if I
It's really
drink-
sitting in the
if I
car,
drink a rum and
relax.
Coke, good luck getting me home driving.
No,
God.
no, it was really
Yes.
you sitting out in the car at least.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
doing something different,
Mhm.
getting in a different
Leaving
mindset.
the school instead
yeah,
of sitting
leave-
in the classroom
yeah.
before you leave after they've been out for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're
Because
still in the classroom.
what I end up doing is
Mhm.
grading papers.
Yeah,
and things
still
of
in
that
the
sort.
mode
Yeah.
of classroom.
And
And,
then-
you come home thinking I'm one of your
And
students.
yeah, and then I get in the kitchen and it's like,
Mhm,
okay, so
mhm.
now I'm gonna
You try to cook my food the way they did
get over it through
for cooking because it's part of your
and-
therapy.
Yeah, that is part of my therapy.
Exactly.
But the thing of it is, I get so locked into the issues of
Mm-hmm.
my students and trying to save them
Mm-hmm.
that
Good teacher too.
I bring it home. I bring it home far too much, and I know that.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
And then, of course, my problem too. At the same time, we're getting down to it is that I'm a very open kind of book, being hot, so it's
Mhm.
easy for you to feel like he's a good sounding board, either with my emotions, openly talking, or with just my energy itself,
Yeah.
and I'll just dump it all in here.
And when I try not to do that, that's when I withdraw my energy so that I don't dump. And that's not good either.
No, we just saw that as an insecure way.
Yeah.
Of
So
doing
maybe I'll
that.
start a journal. So I'll
I
just
thought you was
dump in
already.
my
I
journal.
thought you were already doing a journal.
No, my journal is for something else.
Oh,
It's not a
Okay.
dump journal. where
I
I
never
just-
heard of dumb journal.
Well,
but
I hadn't
maybe-
either. It's just
Hey,
now.
folks, she just came up with something. Maybe you need to start a dump journal. You heard it first on Taking the Journey Together. Sharon came up with something that will help you out with therapy, a dump journal. I know the book that I wrote, Taking the Journey Together.
Mhm.
I know my son and my daughter who wrote it said, Dad, it
Oh,
looks,
my soul says.
my soul says, yeah. And my soul says yes. And my daughter, my son said, Dad, when we read it, it looked like it was therapy for you. Hey, but getting out what
And
you
that's
feel
what it's
inside
supposed to
is
be.
really needed
Yeah.
instead of keeping it in you. We're not talking
Mhm.
about the air you hold in your breath, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the food that you need to
Right.
throw. We're talking about the thoughts in
Yeah.
your mind that are connected to your feelings. Many times you need to get them
Yeah.
out so they won't
Tomorrow,
stay
I'm
in.
gonna go out and buy a dump journal.
Well, there you go. Get yourself a
Yes.
dump journal. You heard it the first time. Get yourself a dump journal. With that dump journal, you'll be okay. I think we still got to go
Nope,
because
it's
it's
time to go.
it's time to go because we
Yes.
started late. So, folks, thank you again. Until next time, take the journey together and make it a adventure and try to connect the best that you can. God bless and Ashe.
like this. I like that.